Or ditch it time. This is, of course, where we like to share with you whether or not an experience is worth doing or ditching entirely. I know that the team is so excited to be bringing you their perspective when it comes to a certain attraction, a certain experience, a certain place in which you should spend your vacation time or not. We do have an entire panel for you here today. Tyler Crouch, Katrina Manzoni out in Walt Disney World. We do have Garrett Hassel, who I'm sure will be moving into place in front of the attraction we're about to speak of here very shortly. But we're going to start here with Tyler. It's all about whether or not Millennium Falcon Smugglers Run at Star Wars Galaxy's Edge is worth your vacation time. You are somebody who is very passionate about this particular attraction. We all know that with some historical context here, not too long ago, Star Wars Galaxy's Edge opened up at Walt Disney World at Hollywood Studios, as well as Disneyland Park. The ride itself was the first to come online, and then later, Rise of the Resistance, the far superior overall attraction, came online, their mega e-ticket. This ride, however, has a lot of, we'll say, fair criticisms thrown at it pretty regularly, but it is definitely something that people will book fast passes for, definitely something that people will plan their day around, especially since it's still relatively new for the theme park goer that hasn't been able to dive into Disneyland or Hollywood Studios as of late. You know, we know 2020, basically all of 2020 for the most part, with the exception of a few months, nobody could even get into Disneyland to experience this. So there wasn't a whole lot of time on the West Coast to go experience this ride. East Coast played a little bit more time into the equation here, where people could go ride themselves some smugglers. The question is, though, is it worth it, Tyler Crouch?
Okay, so
do we have enough time for this?
I know. Hold on to your butts.
Yeah.
So, as my colleagues know, and maybe some viewers and whatnot, I think that Smugglers Run is a failure on multiple fronts.
Whoa!
I think that it is not a fantastic attraction. They set out to do a bunch of things that they fail at. It's got a boring environment. The game itself is not fun. The characters are kind of probably the best part about it, but still leave more to be desired, in my opinion. But that all being said, if you're a vacationer who doesn't get to go to Disney very often, this is maybe your first time since Star Wars came, or you're a big Star Wars fan, I would say, yes, spend your time doing Smugglers Run.
Well,
because I think if you're just a big fan and you really want to see these things and you really need to pull that lever and feel like a big boy to go into Lightspeed, then by all means go ahead. And if it is your only chance to do it, make sure you ask to be a pilot, because you're not going to be happy being an engineer or a gunner. You really want to fly that Millennium Falcon. So again, as a first-time person going out to Disney World since Star Wars is open, sure, knock yourself out, do your thing. But if you're a vacationer who goes often to Disney World, I just don't think there's any reason to go on that. And I think the problem with Smugglers Run is it has diminishing returns, right? Like, you go on it the first time and it seems promising, and it seems like, oh, I think there might be fun there. I'm not sure. Let me do it again. And then you do it again and you go, no, there isn't fun there. It's not good. And I hate to say that, because I mean, Rise of the Resistance is a great ride, and just it shows you what they could do. And Smugglers Run just seems like an attraction that was just hamstrung by capacity issues and just, I don't know, trying very hard to do something out of the Star Wars, like trying to do something very hard that is like new for Star Wars, I feel like, with like Hondo and whatnot. The best part about that ride is the cool animatronic in the beginning. So I think it's worth it for some people, and definitely not worth it for people that get to go on a regular basis. I think, but I think also the question is different if you're going to Hollywood Studios or Disneyland, because at Disneyland, I would say, oh, there's plenty to do. Like, don't worry about Millennium Falcon. But in Disney World, you only have the option really to go to Hollywood Studios unless you're going to get that park hopper. And if you're stuck at Hollywood Studios, then yeah, you should probably do it, because what else are you going to do at Hollywood Studios? So it's it's kind of a complicated question, but that's my answer.
That the most diplomatic way in which you could have responded possible just happened, and I'm shocked because I know how passionate you are when it comes to this. I know the seething hatred you have for this attraction. So
it's bad.
Thank you. Yeah,
it's a bad attraction. I
You
mean,
really
I
don't
hate
like
to say
it.
it. It fails at everything it sets out to do, but. Do it if you're a Star Wars fan and you've never done it before.
There you go.
Yeah.
So maybe a first timer. It sounds like it's worth it, according to Tyler. Katrina, this is a ride that has over the top theming. Definitely, as part of Disney Parks' mission, they're out to make dreams come true.
Mm-hmm.
And somebody that might be a Star Wars fan, somebody that might even be a passive Star Wars fan, probably at one point or another dreamed of what it would be like to pilot the Millennium Falcon, drive in that hunk of junk and see what it's like. So they certainly wanted to work hard to create that. And no doubt lots of very talented people poured their hearts into creating something like this. Lots of very talented people went to great lengths to make sure something special happened here. Unfortunately, it doesn't seem to hit all the marks with Tyler. What say you?
Oh man. How much time do we have? No. So for me, he was very diplomatic about this. I must say.
It was really difficult.
It's
really difficult.
But for me, again, this ride has a lot of flaws. I don't care what anybody says. I will start a Twitter feed with this. I love the queue. I love walking into the Millennium Falcon. I think that's really cool. The details that they put into the ride are amazing. The ride itself is bad. It has a lot of flaws, like Tyler said. You have to pick up the coaxium, and you can only get 2, so you can't.
It's confusing.
Really
what's good and what's bad? I gotta
calm
quiet
down.
myself.
But you can only get 2, which is horrible because everybody's just like, we gotta get more, and you can't. It's impossible. And then I love, again, if you're the first timer, right? I would say do it if you're in a big party where you can all agree who's going to be the gunners, who are going to be the pilots, and who are going to be the engineers. Because if you are like a party of like 2 and you get put with a party of 4 and he's a huge Star Wars fan and he wants to pull down the lever, there's only 1.
Yeah.
So out of the 6 seats, 1 person gets to do it. 2 people get to be a pilot, right? So if you have a party of 4 and a party of 2, that party of 4 has a bigger chance. And if there's 2 little kids with you,
they're piloting.
They're gonna be pilots. And you waited in line for 60 minutes to go on this ride, and now you are the worst gunner. Like, you're a gunner. It's like pointless.
Or somebody that doesn't know how to drive is smashing into the ground the entire time. Like, that has happened to us a couple times already, where it's like, oh, I waited in a line for 45 minutes and then the pilot is just smashing us into the ground the entire time we're on it. So
right. And
fun.
again, like, it's for oh my God, calm down over here. So go take a walk around the building.
I'll be right back.
But like, for me, it's, again, the kids. Yes, of course, those parents focus on the kids.
Yeah.
They say it's a kids park. Okay. Yeah. Okay. I get it. I agree with you, but again, we also waited in line for 60 minutes to do this. And if there is a huge fan, like Kurt, for example, he is a huge Star Wars fan.
Mm.
So obviously, if he waited in line for 60 minutes and he wanted to pull the lever, and then there was a little kid that got it because they hand like the family the things to pass out to be what they are going to be, you're going to be let down.
Mm-hmm.
So for me, you have to just make sure you either walk up and be bold and be like, I want to be a pilot, and then everybody behind you are gonna be like, oh god. Or you just go with a group and you all just agree on what you're gonna do. And then if you're in single rider, you're never gonna be pilot. So you're just gonna be like a gunner or an engineer, most likely. So for me, again, I can't say I don't know. Like, if you're a first timer, fine, do it, but don't waste your day. Like, don't waste your day doing it. Like Tyler said, if you're at Disneyland, there's so many more options. If that queue is 60 minutes and it's just you, or there's a party of 2, you have like really bad odds, wait until the end of the night. Most likely you might be able to have a walk-on towards the end, and then do it. If you're in Disney World, if it's 60 minutes, I guess there's really nothing much to do over at Hollywood Studios, so might as well just do it and just then you be the judge, but you're not going to be happy.
So 2 half duets, it sounds like here.
It's such a hard answer, man.
That's why we're covering it.
It's so hard.
It's important, I think.
And I'm holding in more anger than Tyler.
Oh, whoa.
I'm going to take a walk around the building.
Boy, these two and their rage. Well, we're going to jump out to Disney's Hollywood Studios and the site of Millennium Falcon Smugglers Run with our Disney World reporter, Garrett Hassel, standing by. What do you say, sir? Is it a do it or ditch it for you?
For me, if you are coming out to Disney World for the first time and you love Star Wars, hey there. Hi. He wants to go on it. I asked him, and he wants to go on Smugglers Run.
Oh.
And like for me, if it's your first time, come out here. Especially Hollywood Studios, it's like 7 attractions total. This is one that you got to go on because like there's only 7 attractions. You want to get your money's worth. But if I was out at Disneyland, it's something I could easily skip because there's so many other great attractions there. But Hollywood Studios is just so limited. Like I'd rather do like, I don't know, honestly, the Alien Saucer Spin in Toy Story Land than this one if I'm a returning guest.
Oh.
Because this one, it's like you're playing a video game. That's essentially what it is. You're playing a video game. That's what it's built on. And for a first timer, I agree with what Tyler and Katrina have said, where it's like, it's awesome. You want to be the pilot. You want to do everything. The engineer is the worst job. You hate the engineer, especially if you get some little kids in the front driving it because you're pressing the button the entire time because the ship is literally on fire. but besides that, like the gunner, you just
hold it down.
You literally just hold down a button the entire time. You don't need to do anything. It's the whole entire thing.
I pressed it 18,000 times.
But you want to work out,
you know,
so that's why you have big arms,
You're getting
right?
swole while you're doing it. I see. I mean, the problem with the ride in general is it's like fake interactivity. It pretends like you're doing something when you're not doing anything. You have no agency. It's really
kind of like Mission Space, right?
I feel like Mission Space is probably better.
Like,
I don't know.
Like it will happen whether you want to or not. I actually asked that family before they left, like, do you want to go on that? And they're like, no, we're going on Rise of the Resistance. We don't really care about this one. I'm like, interesting. And like the little kid, he wanted to go because every little kid wants to pilot the Millennium Falcon. Who does? Everyone wants to fly the Millennium Falcon. Just maybe not the way it was designed here, but like the area here, I think that's more of the show than the actual attraction is. Like you hear some cool audio and you get to see Hondo Onaka and you get to walk around actually where Luke practiced using a lightsaber for the first time. But the actual attraction, it's like it's a C grade attraction. Like it's built up big, but it's actually like very lackluster. But if it's your first time, go on it because it's something to experience. That way you can check it off the list. But if you come back multiple times, I'd rather do something else. I'd rather spend my time hanging out, checking out the shops, maybe building a lightsaber, building a droid, than going on this bad boy. It's cool. I love
bad boy indeed.
I think seeing the chess table in like the Millennium Falcon living room is like the coolest part of that entire attraction. Like,
yeah, the whole build up. You're right, Garrett. Too. You know, you mentioned there like that centerpiece of the land right behind you is so epic, and it's such a moment when you see it for the first time. And I remember going on the ride myself at Disneyland before anybody else got the opportunity to. I was doing a preview and was able to ride this sucker, and I remember having the thrill. I'm not even a Star Wars fan. I don't follow the franchise. I don't watch all the movies. I've seen plenty of them, but I'm not a religious Star Wars fan.
You're a Jedi, though, I thought.
I am a Jedi.
Right?
Okay.
However, you can have skills of a Jedi and still not watch all the films. But anyway, I remember going on this ride and having the thrill initially of being like, oh, I'm on the Millennium Falcon. Now, granted, I was a pilot. And that thrill of being able to run this thing was really cool, at least part of it. Being able to run at least part of it. But then after that, the desire to go back on and experience it again. And I've done it several more times just to see if that thrill ever was recreated. Outside of the initial novelty of being able to do it once, I didn't really feel all that motivated to do it anymore.
Exactly.
Yeah.
We did it when they had the previews, and we went on it the first time, and we're like, okay, this was really cool. And let's do it another time. And we wanted to do every position on each side. And yes, that is the only one is like to be a pilot. You know, that is the only cool thing. Again, what they should have done is built a ride where everybody got to pull it somehow. Because that's like the number one thing. What do you like about Smugglers Run? They would say, I got to pull the lever.
Yeah.
So they should have done something like, Flight of Passage, where everybody has the same view and like the same thing.
Yeah.
Garrett.
You make a good point. Yes, Garrett.
I would say if you have a full group of 6, and you've all had a couple drinks, that sounds like an awesome
What a
time.
ball.
Sure, I could see that being
Just
fun.
from the chaos and screaming, but like, yeah, it's a one-time like big thing. Like the one thing that we love about Star Tours, either the past one that had the same old thing with Captain Rex, or the new one, is that like Star Tours, it was a cool experience because there was always new sights to see, and with the new rendition of it, you can see multiple scenes from the Star Wars universe. If they add more missions to this where you don't know what mission it's going to be,
That would
whether
be
it's,
okay.
you know, shooting through an asteroid field or doing what Rey did on Jakku, like that would be something cool. But it's just a one-trick pony right now. Like if you
Yeah.
had more missions, or even you change it where somehow it does flips and stuff, I don't know how, but that would revolutionize how it is. But yeah, hey,
You know,
so much in you, so much
There's
potential.
so
Yeah.
it's so much potential. Yeah, it has a lot of potential, and I think if they changed the mission, I think if they added branching paths or something like that, it could be a lot more fun. But right
What
now,
if
it's
they
just you
added
get
the
the same thing every
Mandalorian?
time. And I equate it to like, you know, when a little kid has like a piano or something that plays like animal sounds, and they press the cow button and it makes a moo, and they go, "Oh, I made a cow moo!" Like that's like what it is. Like it's the adult version, you know, is like pulling the lightspeed lever, and then the adult goes, "Oh, I made the lightspeed happen," and it's like, okay, it's cool one time, but it's not.
But how many times
don't
do they
know.
actually do it? Because there's a lot of people that get pilot and they don't know what they're doing, and then everybody's
Very true.
yelling at them, "Pull the lever!"
Yeah.
And then everybody's like, "Where is it?" And then like the next person over was like, "Ah!"
Yeah, perhaps some education before you get on board might be helpful in enjoying the attraction.
They
overall,
do.
so,
They
yeah.
give you in the pre-show where it's like left to right means left
Yeah,
to
more
right,
so.
up and down.
I think it needs
inverted.
more,
Like
yeah.
So,
it
yeah.
needs like a full 5-minute spiel.
We
Like
need
when
like
you're
the
in an
Indiana
airplane.
Jones thing where it's like, "Hello, my friends. Welcome to the temple
Oh,
of the
Sala.
Millennium Falcon."
Yes. Well, and we could talk about
Solid.
this forever. I know everybody's very passionate about it. You feel the madness
We'll have a special
pouring
episode.
out of it. Yeah, no kidding. Yeah, we'll do an entire 3-hour block just on this ride, I think. But now we turn it on over to you when it comes to whether or not you think Millennium Falcon Smugglers Run is worth doing or ditching. What do you think? Is it worth your vacation time? Leave it in the comment section down below. We would love to hear from you.
To all who come to this happy place, welcome.